Hey everybody, welcome to Geek Addicts. Hello everybody and welcome to Geek Addicts, the pop culture podcast where we go run around the city fighting strange masked men and stealing children's card games from each other. I'm Bill and this is Matt. How you doing, Matt?
I almost got my leg cut off.
Thank God the pointy-haired kid was there to save you.
Yeah, right?
About the other guy had other plans. But anyways, it's been we haven't recorded on a Friday in a while. I think
Yeah,
about
we've been doing Saturdays for a bit. It's just, scheduling crap, fucking everything is subject to change when you're a parent. It's one of those things you don't tell you.
Yes, that is for sure. That and working and life and the universe. Fun
Yep.
stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So how's your week been, Bill? How you doing?
I'm tired. I'm very tired. Um Actually it was a pretty productive week. Read some manga. Actually watched some animes this week. I knocked
Oh
out
yeah?
two 12ers this week. Um so my
Which
goal
ones?
for so my goal for going forward is I'm going to knock out a bunch of 12ers and then I'm either going to watch JoJo's or My Hero Academia. Um but before that I wanted to knock out a bunch of 12ers, so I this week I watched My Dress Up Darling, which
Mm-hmm.
was an experience.
How'd you like that part when he was doing that research on that video game and his dad walks in?
There's that also, like when he finds like the tights in his bag and he's just like what the not sure what I think about the main character. I like Marine though. She's interesting.
Mhm.
Um, and then I watched another 12er of a somewhat older show called Kiss Him Not Me, which is
I've heard
another.
of that one.
It's a rom com that could not be written in this country. That's for sure. Um, it's something. Basically, a main character is a high school girl on the larger side, and she goes into depression because her favorite yaoi protagonist dies in a manga she was reading, and then she goes into a depression for a week and then comes back skinny. The plot goes from there.
Yeah, I haven't watched it myself, but I've heard people talk about it. Isn't it like she comes back skinny and then all the dudes like her, but she likes yaoi, so she wants the boys to kiss each other instead of her?
Kinda. Um,
Something like that.
I haven't. I've started reading the manga a while back, and I haven't finished it. But the anime doesn't finish the entire story. It's one of those, and it's pretty old now, so I don't think it's going to get a second season anytime soon. Very goofy, very goofy.
Mhm.
Um, Written by a artist too, which is kind of funny.
Makes
Um,
sense in the context.
yeah. Interesting watch though. Didn't hate it, but also was kind of confused by it. But I have a few other ones I plan to watch some point this week.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that was my
I I don't know what I should be encouraging, honestly, for when you finish your 12-hour marathon. Because like obviously like the round table side of me says you should watch JoJo's. But I also know for a fact that you would love My Hero. So I'm torn.
yeah. I'm contemplating My Hero just because its final season is coming up very soon,
Mhm.
so it actually might make sense to catch up to it. But
True.
it honestly, I think, just is
True.
going to depend how I feel when I get there. So
That's fair. I mean, what you could even do is obviously you don't want to bounce back and forward too much, but you could like watch some of JoJo's. because of the way the parts are split up, and then switch to My Hero.
I was thinking about that, but I have a feeling if I start it, I'm gonna go the whole way. I'm not gonna
That's fair. That's
jump
fair.
back and
I mean,
forth.
either way, I think episode wise, it's probably about the same.
Yeah, the only difference is JoJo's is it's technically a continuous story, but you can watch them standalone. My Hero is a continuous story, so I don't know. I'll wait and see. It's gonna probably be a week or a month before I get to it, but
You should just throw everybody for a loop and just start watching Vigilantes.
yeah.
Honestly, like legitimately, you could just watch that one on its own without watching the main series. It stands on its own well enough.
True. I'll think about it when I get there.
I got you though. Yeah, I finished Mr. Mercedes this week.
Nice.
And I know I had my say about Kate Mulgrew last week. But despite everything that I said, I think you haven't quite experienced Kate Mulgrew until you've seen her chopping off a girl's leg with a sawzall while singing Barbra Streisand. It's an experience.
Sounds lovely.
That literally, it's a scene in the show. It's fucking outrageous. You know what the wild thing is she has the fucking Janeway hairstyle the whole time too.
Which Janeway hairstyle?
You know, like the front poof that goes back. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Because later in the series, like she gets like the weird like Rachel haircut from Friends, but
it was the 90s.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was an experience. They did some weird stuff with that last season that I don't know how to feel about because they structure that show weird. Because the first season covers the first because Mr. Mercedes is the first of a trilogy in the books. And there's 3 seasons to the show, and each season covers a book. But so the first season covers the first book, as you'd expect, and it's they take some liberties, switch a couple things around, but for the most part, it's a fairly respectable adaptation. Then the second season covers the third book, which was bizarre. And then the third season covers the second book, but it like kind of changes the structure of it in a way. And I'm not crazy about how they adapted the story itself, but I'm also trying to look at it as it's, as if I hadn't read the books previously. And in that sense, there's a lot of things I like about it. So, I mean, it's one of those complicated things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I finished that, and I think I'm like 2 episodes away from finishing season 3 of Inuyasha. So I'm roughly halfway through like the original series. Not counting Final Act.
Like around there because it's 7 seasons.
Well, Netflix has it split up into 6.
I wonder if Netflix has it all because it's 7.
Well, how many episodes are per season?
There's 100. There's 167 total.
Yeah, I know that. I'm saying like
I'd have to look at
because Netflix. Oh, the first 2 seasons were like 28 or 29 episodes each on Netflix. The third season was only 20 episodes, but I'm not sure about the rest of it. But I mean, even just taking those first 3 seasons that Netflix has, that's about halfway because that's like 70, like 75 to 80 episodes right there. So,
my DVDs don't have the spine numbering. That doesn't help me at all. I'd have to look into it somewhere. I'm not sure because I know Netflix for the longest time didn't have Beyond season 2, so they might still be working their way through.
Well, right now Inuyasha is trying to unlock the Red Tetsaga, so that's where I left off.
Oh yeah, fun.
We just went through the whole thing where Naraku purged Onigumo, and then immediately was like, "Oh shit, that was kind of my core. Kind of need that back."
His first attempt. His first attempt at doing that. Yes.
And then he was running around with no face.
Yep. And he steals some random monk's face, and then wacky shit happens because.
You know what's fucked up is Onigumo's a shitty guy. Like he's a piece of shit. Let's be real.
Oh, yeah.
Like regardless of whether it's pre or post Naraku, he's a piece of shit. But you also kind of feel bad for him in that moment. Like he just wants to be himself. He's like, I did this for this purpose, and then as soon as I did this to get this, my new demon self was like, nope, dead. Kill that bitch.
Yeah.
And then he's finally free after 50 years, and he's like, yes, I can finally pursue what I wanted. And then Naraku's just like, nope, back inside you go.
Yeah, but then you remember back to like what he did, and you're like, yeah, this guy kind of sucks.
I mean, even just what he did, like since he was like separated from Naraku, like in like the day he was alive as a separate being, he was, like I said, he's unarguably a piece of shit.
Oh yeah, I mean.
But in that moment when Naraku's reabsorbing him, it's like, I kind of want to feel bad for you, like a little bit.
See, I just think back to that scene where like young Kaede is like taking care of him, and he's just saying all this like awful shit he wants to do to Kikyo, and I'm just like, yeah, this guy's bad. Like,
yeah, unarguably bad for sure. But there's just some of those like things you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy, and that's probably one of them.
It's one of the reasons why I really hate how the anime like character assassinated Kikyo, because like you realize how like
she's a psycho bitch in the anime. Like when she gets resurrected, like
I know, like she's not like that in the manga. Like they don't do this love triangle shit in the manga. Anyways, that's for another that's for later when we eventually cover Inuyasha. Totally.
Yeah, we will, but I still want to make comments here and there as I watch through. Because I did want to say, like, I absolutely adore whenever like Kagome is like talking about her drama shit to her friends, and they have no context because they don't know about the whole feudal era thing. So like she's telling them all this shit, and like I love like her friends' reaction to all the shit that she tells them. It's super funny.
Well, I love it too because the whole time they're like, my favorite is that one manga clip that always goes around where it's like, she's like, he's impulsive, he's loud, he never listens to me, he does all this, and they're like, he's an American. Just like, yeah. But then they meet him later and they're like, oh my god, he's hot.
Americans are demons. Interesting.
That's just some good old humor from the Japanese, and I enjoy it.
I got no problem with it. It's fine.
That's like one of my favorite running jokes about Inuyasha is that the real villains of the show are Kagome's friends.
Yeah, right. I do have a question for you though.
Yes.
Because I did watch the first season a while, like years ago at this point. But I don't remember much from it. You've watched all of Yashahime, correct?
Yes.
And you've read the manga?
Not fully. It's not completely out over here yet.
Okay. Do we see adult Shippo at any point?
Kinda.
I don't like that answer.
I mean, physically, yes, but I don't want to spoil.
Is he still a kid?
Well, he's technically an ageless demon creature.
Yes, but they still age. They still grow up.
Yes. I don't really want to say because it kind of spoils some stuff, but
if he's still a kid, I'm gonna be pissed.
Well, he's
because
not.
Because look, I'm just saying, Shippo is kind of stacked with powers, right? It's just the fact that he's a kid that limits him. I want to see adult Shippo just being a badass fox demon. He grew up like around all these crazy battles and epic fights and shit. Like he was at the front fucking row to all this crazy shit. Kind of like how like Reflections. The one good thing about Reflections was that we got to see Yahiko as an adult and he was a badass. Like that's what I want for Shippo.
Don't get your hopes up. That's all I'll say.
Okay, so Yashahime is a bad anime. Good to know.
Well, a lot of people will say that. You have to watch
I don't care about any of that other shit. I'm gonna watch it, But I mean, if Shippo isn't cool, then bad.
How do I tell you that Shippo's like not in most of it?
I mean, I kind of expected that because that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like look. All fairness to Yashihime and whatever all the other fucking kids' names are, I don't even remember.
That Yashihime isn't even one of their names.
Exactly. I could give a fuck about any of those kids. I want a whole anime just about adult Shippo doing adult Shippo things. Badass fox demon,
Don't get
foxfire,
your hopes. Don't
fucking
get your hopes
shapeshifter.
up. You see
God
his
damn
shape.
it.
You'll see his shape shifting. You have to rewatch it when you eventually get there and rewatch it. You'll understand that Moroha is the only thing that matters in that show, and she's not the main character.
I'm just saying. Just saying.
Well,
Because the Shippo like fillery episodes are some of my favorite shit. Like when the fucking the one remaining ThunderClan kid challenges him to a fucking a duel. I love that episode. It's great.
Yeah, I won't spoil anything about Yashihime because it's worth the mystery, but he has some good moments, I will say, but don't expect adult Shippo because it's just not a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
It's kind of funny. Rumiko Takahashi actually like people make up shit about Yashihime all the time because that show's just controversial for no reason. But apparently like they had been approaching her about making a sequel for years, and she would always shoot it down. Like initially, they were like, "You should make a continuation that takes place right after the end of the series," and she said no. Then they were like, "Well, what if you did was a series revolving around Kagome and Inuyasha's daughter?" And she was like, "No." And then they're like, "What about Sesshomaru's daughters?" And she's like, "That's actually interesting. Let's go with that." And
I mean, that's fair. I wouldn't have. Honestly, like I feel like it didn't need a sequel. Like it wraps up so neatly.
Yeah, it didn't. Yashihime kind of ruins a lot of the ending in a lot of ways, I will say. It's still fun it happened though.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna hate the fact that it exists. It just didn't need to be. It's like if fucking it's like if we got a Full Metal Alchemist sequel. Like nobody wants that.
Yeah. Well, people wanted an Inuyasha sequel for a long time, and then we got one, and they were all like, "Nope." Um,
I'd be cool with like a Inuyasha side story, like something about like maybe a character that had like a brief appearance or something, and then like went off and did their own thing or something like that. I don't know. Or like
yeah,
some stuff that happened during the 50-year gap. That'd be
yeah.
kind of cool.
I don't think Ramiko's really interested in that though.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, just spitballing, just spitballing.
Yeah, but yeah, you'll see more Inuyasha. Like, when was the last time you watched all of Inuyasha fully?
Over a decade. It's been a while.
So you're getting into some of the interesting stuff pretty soon. So I'll be
That's
interested.
why I didn't want to do an episode until I rewatched it because it's been a bit. I don't remember a whole lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I remember some key moments. Like I remember that the Onagumo like splitting from Narag. I remember that was the thing that happened. I remember like the big half demon guy that they meet that one time. I mean, I remember things like the Adamant Barrage and Backlash Wave and like the big dragon guy he fought to get it. I remember it.
Being stepped on multiple times.
Yeah, of course. There was the fucking like black hole move that the Tenseiga gets. You know, Kagura, like I remember plenty of stuff, just like vaguely.
Yeah, and it's really funny how when you rewatch it, you realize Kagome doesn't actually get kidnapped nearly as much as the internet likes to tell you.
Yeah.
It's really funny when everyone's like, "Oh, Kagome gets kidnapped every episode." I'm like, "No, she doesn't." It's like maybe like a few times.
I mean, it's like the same thing where people say like, "Oh, Kirk's just max on every girl he meets," and it's like he really doesn't. He doesn't really even like do that much until like the last season.
Yeah, true. Um, Yeah. Any
Oh, and
other things?
I did watch an anime movie this week. It's one of the Netflix ones. Okay. It's one of the Netflix ones that is like the. Hold on, I got it written down on my phone here. I don't remember the title. Um, it was called Nino Kuni, and it's like it reminded me a lot of Zenshu in a way.
Nino Kune. Is that based off the game?
Uh, doubt it.
Uh,
Because it was kind of Zenshu like, where it's like a kind of an isekai, but they can kind of just move back and forth.
is the cover a guy have a guy in a wheelchair on it?
That's not the cover that I saw on Netflix, but there is a guy in a wheelchair. Yes.
Okay. All right. This must be it. That's okay. That's bizarre because it like uses the same font as the game.
Hmm.
Is it related? Oh, it is related.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Okay, I gotta keep that in mind.
Is it like based on the game or something?
Takes place centuries after the events of the second game, so it's same world but basically unrelated. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it was a decent movie. The weird like left field reveal at the end kind of threw me off and seemed unnecessary, but other than that, I thought it was a good movie.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, like I said, like I've watched a bunch of the Netflix movies at this point, or at least a bunch of the ones that are on Netflix. So if at some point you feel like diving into a few of those, let me know. I'll toss you a few good recommends.
Alex sends me a few here and there as well. I gotta sit down. I just haven't been in a movie mood. Excuse me, recently.
I get that.
But
I get that. Although I've been liking having just like the quick one and dones, you know.
yeah.
It's been interesting. Like not all of them are winners, obviously, but it's still kind of cool, like seeing the different things that people do with these like little like one shot anime kind of things, you know.
Hmm.
So
I get you. Um, anything else, or do you think we should jump into our topic?
um, we can continue on.
Okay, because this might be a long one. Yeah. So for our topic this week, we are doing the third installment in our Yu-Gi-Oh manga recap. Previous episodes we had covered the early like season 0 stuff and Duelist Kingdom. For this episode, we're going to be covering mostly the early can't talk preliminary Battle City arcs, along with the Dungeon Dice monsters and a whole lot of fun stuff. Um, so where do we start?
I mean, the easy answer is Dungeon Dice Monsters. Well, first of all, like, oh wait, did the little Pharaoh Anzu date happen before or after Dungeon Dice Monsters? I don't remember.
After.
Okay.
So everything you remember from the anime for this point in the series, forget that. It doesn't happen in the manga.
Well, it's weird because it kind of like the anime kind of like took this arc of the manga and split it into multiple little sections.
You remember, yeah, so like you remember that like second Bandit Keith fight in the anime, that doesn't happen in the manga. Instead, that's actually part of Dungeon Dice Monsters, but Bandit Keith is gone because fuck him. uh,
His hand turned into a gun and shot himself in the head.
yeah. He doesn't come back the same way he did in the anime. Instead, they completely revamped Dungeon Dice Monsters, and there's like this new entire arc where like I'm gonna still use the American names occasionally, so forgive me if I messed it up. What's Duke's name in the manga?
I'm probably gonna be doing the same thing honestly with this one because I like the first couple arcs that we already covered. I've read those multiple times. This is only my second time reading this portion of the manga, and I don't remember a lot of these characters' names
Oh,
in
it's
Japanese.
Ryuji Otogi.
And it was Ryu something.
I remember him as Duke Devlin. Um, yeah, he has a dad in this arc, and he's like a parallel to Yugi. None of that happened in the original arc. In the original arc, his reason for being pissy was because Yugi knocked out Pegasus, even though he didn't actually.
Mhm.
Yeah, Pegasus doesn't even get like. Is Pegasus dead at this point?
Yeah. Yeah, he's dead.
Oh, he's straight up dead.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. So, yeah,
Yeah,
that
but Korra
doesn't.
fucking murdered him.
Lovely. Um, yeah.
I mean,
So
he was
this,
pretty covered in blood last time we saw him.
I'm guessing he never appears again.
I mean, your guess is as good as mine.
Okay.
Because where we end this week is as far as I've read.
Oh, okay. We'll see then. Um, yeah. So Ryuji is essentially he is still the creator of Dungeon Dice Monsters, but now instead of him owning the rival game store, it's his dad who was apparently an Egyptian explorer. Did you love that young photo of Yugi's grandfather we saw, where he's like,
He's just like a silhouette, but like you could tell he's like this big buff, like fucking badass dude.
yeah, I was like, okay.
They're the
Apparently they
legendary gamer.
apparently they had an incident back in one of their Egyptian pharaoh robbing moments. I feel like this kind of combines with that like anime like filler plot with the girl and her grandfather,
Kinda, yeah.
only more traumatic.
But like I said,
Um,
it's like they took this Dungeon Dice Monsters little mini arc in the manga and turned it into like 3 different things in the anime.
yeah, yeah, because they really wanted Dungeon Dice Monsters to be a thing, so they kind of gave it its own like big thing in the anime,
Some
and
story arc.
it still didn't take off because it was too complicated. Um,
Although reading the arc made me want to play the game some more, so I've been picking that up a little bit,
See,
playing it a bit on my.
The GBA game is fine. The physical tabletop shit, I remember seeing that in stores back then and be like, yeah, fuck that. That's way too much shit.
Well, see, my question is like, how would you fucking because the whole point of the game is like when you play a die, right? It's supposed to like open up, like
From
each face of the die is supposed to be like a space on the game board, and that's like how you move around.
from
How the
what I
fuck would that
remember,
work physically?
from what I remember, it was the dice came with like these little cardboard cutout pieces that you'd put on the board, so they'd be like in the shape of like what it would open up to,
Oh,
and you'd place those down.
I mean, I guess that would work. It's
It,
less
I
fun though.
I remember. Well, yeah, the show made it look so much more entertaining than the actual game ended up being.
Yeah,
Um, I just remember like seeing it as a kid and being like, that's just a whole lot of shit to lose. So it's like not worth it.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so like there's like this whole like backstory plot where I guess like Yugi's grandfather like and the and Ryuji's grandfather had a falling out and it resulted in Luigi's grandfather being scarred permanently.
Yeah, well, essentially what happened was like for some reason Ryuji's grandfather or father, whatever, like wanted to be apprenticed to Yugi's grandfather because he was so good at games. And eventually he like he wanted the Millennium Puzzle for some reason and challenged Yugi's granddad to like it was like a cursed game, kind of like that dragon game we got in the season 0 arc, the like dragon cards thing.
Hmm.
Um, and he challenged him to like this fucking cursed board game, which obviously he lost. And it like apparently like disfigures you when you lose.
Yeah, Yugi's grandfather was kind of like insane back in the day.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it wasn't his fault.
No, he just was always tangentially attached to this stuff.
Yeah.
I found it interesting too that like the that whole because in the anime they had this whole arc where Joey ends up like losing a or Junichi loses like a duel against Luigi and gets like has to wear a dog suit. They just kind of got rid of that because it was kind of dumb.
Yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't like he still lost against him, but it wasn't in like Duel Monsters like it happened in the anime. It was just like a regular like game
A
of
shell.
chance type of thing.
It was a shell game, as Yami likes to tell us.
Yeah.
Um, Because I like in this one how like he loses and then Yami's like like bitch please I'm gonna fucking own this guy.
Yeah.
And then he basically just kicks his ass. He's like, yeah, you were cheating. Joey's not your slave anymore. Sorry.
Mhm.
I do enjoy how Yami is just kind of a petty bitch in the manga at times.
Yeah, for real. I mean, he's not. He's definitely grown as a person because he's not just straight up fucking torturing people anymore.
I also
Because
like in the
if he had met Ryuji in like the first arc, he'd be fucked up.
oh yeah, like I like the I like too in this. It's kind of interesting how because I don't remember this in the anime as much, but like everyone's aware that there's just another spirit in Yugi.
Hmm.
And they all because they always mention like the other Yugi or there's two Yugis. I'm just like sitting here going like in the anime they were always like vague about it. Like it's like he just gets weird every now and then. I don't know.
Yeah, they don't really like talk about it until like mid Battle City, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, the Pharaoh, he's a separate person."
Yeah. And even then I'm pretty sure Anzu's still kind of confused about it in the anime half the time. So
I mean, she was kind of confused about it here because when they actually acknowledge it in this arc, like she's basically like, "Oh, I kind of thought that he just had a split personality and that it was all actually just Yugi, but apparently it is an actual different person. So now I'm confused and in a love triangle with the same person."
yeah. Anzu's arc is weird. But
Yeah.
what do you think of how like the manga like handles the whole Dungeon Dice Monsters thing? Because it did make the game look cooler than it did
Yeah.
than
Well, I mean,
it
like
is.
I mean, again, just the art in this manga is just fantastic.
Yeah,
Um, although I'll definitely say that like the style has changed since the beginning. Um,
it's a bit more refined to what the show anime would use as a basis.
yeah, for
Like
sure.
they're
It's sharper.
sharper to a degree. There's certain characters I still think have benefit from like the art style though. Like I think Anzu does,
Mhm.
Mai does when she appears later. They just look softer. The feminine characters in particular do look softer still.
I mean, don't you kind of want the feminine characters to look soft?
Well, yeah, but in the friggin' anime, everyone was fucking sharp as a needle. So
Yeah, this is true. Um, but yeah, the Dungeon Dice Monsters like whole thing was really cool.
I,
Because
I
I mean,
I was
go
really
on.
annoyed by how Yugi gets roped into it though. They just fucking slip some fucking dice into his bag and they're like, "We got to
Accuse
put
him
you
of
under."
shoplifting.
Yeah, no, we're taking your puzzle too. And I was like, "Look, really? This is how we're doing
Yeah,
this? Okay." I'm like,
we'll give it
"Okay."
back if we give it back if you prove that you weren't stealing,
It's like, "Oh, you have
which is
cameras in here?"
ridiculous,
Like, Jesus.
right?
Um, yeah, also, the way that the puzzle gets broken in this, I thought was really stupid. Like, his dad just like starts fidgeting with it until he breaks it. I'm like, great.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, it's like he brings them like through like a hidden door or something, and it's like once again, it's not like a big arena. It's literally just like a table that they're playing it
Yeah,
on,
the big arenas just aren't a thing in the manga.
which I kind of like, honestly.
Hmm.
Even though Jula's Kingdom faked you out into thinking it was going to be a big arena, and then they were like, nope, it's just a table in the middle.
Yeah, yeah. um,
um, but the way this arc ends with, I mean, first of all, like at some point, Ryuji is just like, yeah, I get it, Dad. You're mad and you want revenge, but like this is my thing, so fuck off. Um, and I like that because it shows him like, you know, he's got some character to him.
hmm.
Like he's not just Duke Devlin, you know.
Yeah, he's not just this asshole that like disappears for like half a season and then shows up just to mac on Joey's sister.
I mean, he kind of does that a little
Well,
bit,
he still
but
does that, but at least he has a character this time.
yeah. Well, to be fair, he funded that whole trip, so
True. Also, Bakura shows up again. Um,
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he shows up in this arc, and like at one point, Yugi's like, "Oh no, I'm gonna lose. This is awful," and Bakura just shows up. It's just like, "Quit being a bitch, bitch."
he's like, "We're friends now, right?" I'm
Yeah, and
evil, but
he's
we're
very obviously
friends.
the evil Bakura, but he's just like, don't worry, Yugi, I'm on your side now.
Bakura is such a fucking weird character. I swear to God, every time he shows
For
up.
real.
But
I honestly feel like Bakura is a great villain, though. He's a fantastic villain.
oh, he's like the best villain of the series because he's like legitimately a bastard. Like
I
in
mean,
every way.
spoilers for the end, but he's the final boss.
Well, yeah, it's not subtle either. Like it's coming.
Yeah.
I love that though. How he's clearly the evil spirit in the ring, but he's like, "Don't worry, I'm your friend now." And I'm just
I've
yeah.
had a change of heart.
He's like, the whole thing. He's like, I love too how he's like, "Don't even try to build the puzzle; it'll kill you." And it's just like great.
And I mean, we know this to be true. If you're not worthy, then the Millennium items will fucking kill you.
I just think of that one scene in Dark Side Dimensions where the one guy puts on the ring and the ring just fucking murders him. I'm just like, holy fuck.
I mean, that happens in the manga too.
True.
When we get the flashback to Pegasus getting his eye.
True.
Um,
Yeah, because they do the same thing where like the room gets set on fire. We actually see Ryuichi's dad on fire at one point. I'm just like, wow, this guy's just an asshole.
yeah. Then Yugi puts him out, and that's when his dad's like, "Oh, you're a good boy. I feel bad now."
But there's because they do the same thing where like Yugi's like, I have to build the puzzle. In the fire, and Joey's like, you stupid idiot, get out of here.
I just gotta throw this out there, like the entire fucking building is on fire by the time they actually start getting like by the time Jonochi even shows up, the whole fucking like the outside of the building is on fire. Like that's how fucking on fire this building is, and it's a big ass building. Like this is a huge fucking, and they were in like a secret room, like in the depths of this building. So like, by the time he showed up, Yugi should have been dead. Period. Point blank. Like, just from the smoke inhalation alone.
He had the magic of anime on his side.
But like, literally, that room was engulfed in flame. Like, he should have been dead.
Yeah, because they needed to do like the same like goofy scene where like they're like, oh god, he won't leave without the puzzle. Because they make the joke early on where Yugi puts it on, he puts it on a chain, and he's like, well, what are you, little edgelord here?
And like, I remember in the anime they just used like a random like bar, like rebar that was just laying around to fucking like wedge the post out to get the Millennium Puzzle off. In this, he uses the cursed board game to fucking, because it's got like spikes on it. So he shoves the spike into like the post's hole and fucking uses the fucking board game as a wedge.
Well, also in this, because in the anime, like they somehow strung the Millennium Puzzle through like an eye post, and I'm like, how the fuck did they do that? It didn't make any sense because they have to pull the entire eye post out to get the puzzle. In this one, he just kind of posts it through one of the chain links, which makes more sense. But
and like to anybody who's not familiar, like this isn't like this is my chain. Like this is like a legit like a chain, like a fucking like you would use to fucking lug big ass shit. Like this is a fucking chain.
I love too that their whole reasoning for like the chain is like, well, people have been after the puzzle lately, so I needed to be protected. And I guarantee it was more just the author was like, I want to draw a fucking chain.
Well, yeah, I mean he starts dressing in like fucking leather straps and shit after this, so.
But yeah, I was amazed just how much they changed shit in the anime this time around for this opening arc. I was like, holy shit, this is really different.
It was intense, yeah. I mean, the duel itself, like the Dungeon Dice Monster game itself, was pretty much like point for point the same as the anime, but like everything surrounding it was vastly different.
The only difference is we didn't have Yami basically OPing his way through it. This time it was like strictly a Yugi on his own, which was a little different.
Mm. Yeah, which I mean, I like those moments because it shows growth for him as a character.
Well, yeah, because he's still kind of pathetic at this point, like Yugi himself.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't really grown into the true duelist he will become. This is like his first time he really has to rely on himself and not Yami.
Yeah. The only other thing I can think of is like when they were doing like the mind shuffle thing against Pegasus, but even then it was they were working in tandem. So
yeah, because it's interesting because the manga, like the virtual world, doesn't happen. Like that's a filler arc, which the video game world, I should say.
Both of them.
Both are
of them
filler. The first one is only like a 3-episode filler, which is easier. The other ones are like half a season, but
For real, it's fucking crazy how long that
um,
fucking arc is. It's
I
stupid.
know, and it's Merrick just fucking sits on that plane. I'm still not. I'm still not. Anyways,
He's just killing robots.
yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, after the Dungeon Dice Monsters, then we get into Battle City proper, where they go right to Oh, the date I think happens. Wait, does the date happen or does Kaiba
I think
visiting?
Kaiba gets the thing first.
Right. Yeah. So Kaiba goes to the Egyptian museum because Ishizu calls him there, and he does the same shit. This scene's pretty much point for point, other than Ishizu doesn't look like she's gonna poke your eye out with how sharp she is in the anime.
Also, just want to throw this out there: Ishizu and Merrick, first characters since Yugi whose names weren't changed for the anime or for the dub, I should say. Like their names are accurate in the manga. Like Ishizu Ishtar, Merrick Ishtar.
True. Were the Kaiba brothers' names changed between the manga and the anime?
No.
Okay,
That missed that one.
they're like the only other ones I could think of because I was like,
Yeah, like
I always thought it was really weird that like in the anime, like you had like Joey, Tristan, and Taya, and then just Kaiba you could kind of get away with, but like then just like randomly like Mokuba, like
yeah.
just,
I mean, I don't know. It is weird. It is weird.
yeah, but yeah, the Ishtar's names are not changed, which is interesting. It's like they didn't change certain characters.
Well, I mean, it would have been kind of weird if they had given them like Joe Schmo names, considering they're literally from Egypt.
True. I mean, nothing
It
beats
changed
fucking.
Odion's name, which was interesting. I forget what his name was in the manga, but
It's like Rashid, I think, or something.
yeah, it was like completely different.
He actually has a name that like makes sense within that continuity.
Mm-hmm.
1 second. I have a wonderful website called tvtropes.com, which is very helpful. Except for when it's not.
Yeah. But
yeah.
yeah, so they go on their date, and Pharaoh's very distracted, as you know, as he will be. Oh, fucking Johnny Steps is in the manga. I didn't think that was actually gonna like they do the whole DDR thing. They
Well,
don't
no,
end up like there's no like duel with him or anything like that, with him like trying to get her to go out with him and shit. But like he's there and she plays DDR against him.
that was just the writer. I forget his name, but the author of the series. He just really wanted to draw Taya in that miniskirt. Like that was all that he really wanted. I mean, Anzu in the miniskirt. That's really all he wanted.
Yeah.
And the tube top.
Yeah. Well, I think Mai is definitely his favorite character. So
He likes out there. He likes to draw Anzu and he likes to draw Mai a lot.
I think he especially likes to draw Mai.
Yeah. To be fair, these series of volumes we read were a lot less horny.
True.
There wasn't a lot of horniness in this set of books, but I'm sure it'll come back at some point.
I'm sure.
But yeah, we get the their date is kind of goofy because they just it's the same shit where Anzu's like, I don't know, he's like two people, and Yami's just like, ooh, cards.
Yeah, right.
I like cards. Oh, we're on a date? That's cool.
Yeah, he only really gets like animated during the date when they're at the card shop buying booster packs.
Yeah, which is funny because Yuki's into her. Yami's kind of like, eh.
She's here. Whatever.
She's a friend. I do like that they just kind of stumble upon the meeting area for Kaiba's tournament.
Yeah, they just happened to be there. Also, like Kaiba wasn't nearly as dramatic about it here because in the anime he was like on a helicopter and hanging out the side, being like, "Yes, this is my tournament." And here he was just like, "Hey guys, thanks for coming. Tournament tomorrow. Be there, be square."
And he doesn't do that whole dramatic, like, this is how the rules are going to be now, where they're like, oh, yeah, we have to actually establish rules.
Yep. Which they do occasionally break, by the way. I did notice that.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. But also, like, I've noticed in the manga, Kaiba really respects Yugi a lot more than he did in the anime. Because even in the anime, he would still be like, fucking Yugi, amateur.
But he even like, I mean, let's be real. Like most of the respect and like epiphanies that he has are like inside. Like he doesn't outwardly say them. Like he has them like as inner monologues, but he doesn't like speak them out loud. But
True.
he even throws some respect Ochi's way at one point.
Later on, he does. Not at the start. Well, actually, it's funny because at the start, he doesn't even like acknowledge him, which is
No,
fair.
he's still ranked as a level 2 duelist
Which
in
is
the
better than
computer system.
it's better than the anime because the anime gave him because the anime changed it to like a star system, and in the anime he was like a 1-star list. I was like, God damn it, Kaiba. And
Yep.
Kaiba is such an asshole in the anime too because he's like, how did you get a dual disc?
Yeah, right. It turns out I just had a card that was just rare enough for these assholes to want to steal it. Which let's be real, they didn't need to give him a dual disc to steal his card. They could have just fucking beat him up and stole it.
Yeah, well, also because too that when Joey gets his red eyes stolen from him later in the thing, like the tournament hadn't started yet. Like,
yeah,
he wasn't
so like there's literally no
obligated.
reason to duel him.
Yeah, and he wasn't obligated to give the card either. But that's besides the point. We need drama.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really interesting because like Kaiba, like when he does this whole like speech, he just chilly walks off. He's like, yeah, and he's like, oh Yugi, I'm glad you're here. Good.
Yeah.
Like he isn't like snarky at all. He's like, oh good, Yugi's here.
I mean, he still has plenty of snarky moments throughout this arc, but
His
yeah,
snark isn't directed at Yugi usually though. It's he oddly respects him a lot more in the manga than he does in the anime.
well, I mean, his hand is kind of forced here. He kind of has to show him some respect.
I mean, he's a level 8 duelist, which is apparently the elite of the elite.
Well, I mean that the fucking Blue Eyes is level 8, so I mean that makes sense.
Yeah. I found it interesting that Yugi's most valuable card is the Dark Magician at this point.
But that's his most valuable known card, at least.
True.
Because I mean, by the time like the tournament starts, he's restructured his deck. We get the Buster Blader. He's got fucking Big Shield Garden. Fucking he's got a bunch of new Swift Guy, the Fierce Knight, and shit.
Yeah, because like it's really funny too. Because true, I love it. The Magnet Warriors are like my guilty pleasure set. I love those cards.
It is a fun strategy.
Because I had back in the day, like a little off topic, but like I always had a dragon deck, but I always had the Magnet Warriors because I love that set.
Mm-hmm. Which the Magnet Warriors play a part, like weirdly enough, play a part in Kaiba's character development later on. But we'll save that for when it comes.
Also, what I find interesting is so obviously they go and get their dual discs, and Joey immediately gets mugged by the one rare hunter, the Exodia deck, which is when that happened in the anime, I was like, bullshit. I was like, fucking bullshit. Especially because Joey was having a really good duel up until that point, too.
Yeah. Like, well, I mean, that's the thing is like with the ghouls, which first of all, this is the first time outside of like sacred cards I've ever heard of the rare hunters being referred to as ghouls.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. You come to think of it, like, a lot of the video games make a lot more sense now that I'm reading the manga. Because like a lot of things like in the video games, Mokuba always seems like an asshole. And I was always like, why is that? Like Mokuba's the reasonable of the two, which he is, but he was also a fucking dick. Like he tried to fucking poison them.
Yeah, Mokuba's like extreme dick in the manga, which is really funny. Like he respects like Yugi, but like he still is gonna be a snarky asshole.
Yeah. But like they also like make it a point to say like these guys are known for reproducing like fake cards for their decks. And like they put a big focus on that for the ghouls in this arc.
Yeah, because in the anime, it's only really brought up with this guy in particular with his Exodias. it's never really brought up again later on, but this one they bring it up with every time I've like one of the ghouls shows up. They're like, oh yeah, they have fake cards, so they're counterfeit cards.
Yeah. Also, I thought it was weird. Like, I know a little bit of a jump around here, but like when he's dueling, what the fuck do they call him in this? The fucking dark magician guy.
Oh, he's Pandora.
Right, because Pandora's box. Yes, yes.
Yeah. Which
yeah.
I'm not sure if I like that more than Arcana, because Arcana really worked.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a play on Arcane. With it's
I
magic.
have to watch. I really need to watch the Battle City anime now because like I miss like a lot of these fights.
Yeah. Even though they're much more like streamlined and quick to get through in the manga, like
yeah, it's so weird.
In the anime, a fucking duel that lasted maybe 2 or 3 chapters will last like 5 episodes.
Oh yeah, like I'm sure we'll get to some later where they're gonna breeze through them, and I'll be like, Jesus.
Yeah,
because like the duel Joey versus the Exodia guy, I can't remember his name.
He didn't have a name. Actually, there was one point where Yugi asked him what his name was, and he was just like, you know what? Doesn't matter. I don't care what your fucking name is. You're going down, bro. And we just never get his name. He's just the ghoul.
Also, Merrick constantly refers to him as the weakest ghoul, which is really funny.
The one that exclusively uses Exodia is the weakest one. Like, okay, bud. Okay.
Well, I mean, Yugi did make him his bitch like within like 3 turns, so.
Yeah, but without card destruction, there's no fucking way.
Also,
or whatever, or chain destruction.
Amazing like moment of blink it or miss it. Yugi gets the card that like literally wins that duel during the date with Taya or Andrew.
Yeah.
But
one of those things.
Because like in the anime when he fights Joey, like that duel goes on way longer because he basically gets Exodia immediately, and the manga just destroys Joey like that.
Yeah.
In the anime, like it's actually Joey has a good fight going on for a bit there, and then like he pulls Exodia and just like wipes the floor with him. But it's like Joey was doing good.
Also, Yugi like instantly figures out what the guy's strategy is. Like, with like there's like maybe 5 pages go by, and he's like, "Yeah, you're trying to play Exodia. I'm not gonna let you." Like, it's like super quick.
Well, I mean, he did like say like multiple times. He's like, "I'm the Exodia duelist." Like, it's pretty obvious what his strat was there. And I love too how Yugi's like, "Oh yeah, your deck is weak, is pointless without Exodia, isn't it?"
But just nothing but wall monsters and cards to draw other cards.
Basically, just slow down cards to give him time, buy him time, basically. Because there's actually I actually really like Junichi's like arc here, where like he after he gets the floor wiped with him, he basically like Yugi does the whole thing. He's like, "Well, here's your card back, bro," and he's like, "No, you hold on to it because I have to actually earn the right to own that card." Which is nice because like in the anime, he's like, "Nah, you keep it, bro. I got to you might need it or some shit, and then I'll beat you for it later."
Yeah.
Joey has a lot more character. I'm gonna literally go back and forth on the names the whole time, but
it happens. Don't worry about it.
Junichi really like goes like he has so much more development in the manga. I swear, even though they like get rid of his best duel during Duelist Kingdom.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, again, like with the way that our reading section for this episode ends, I think that probably was the best move. Like,
fair.
Because it is so much more meaningful and impactful in context without that previous duel.
True. Yeah, because like I also find it really interesting because like the way this arc is structured out very much like the anime go from here on, just with minor differences, where like you essentially we follow there's 3 different viewpoints we're following. We're following Yugi doing Yugi things, Joey doing Joey things, and then Kaiba doing Kaiba things. And we have the same thing where we kind of will switch perspectives each time. Also, Honda and Ryuji are going to go get Joey's sister. That's also
which is like totally random because there is a point where they're like, "Hey, where's Honda?" And like I'm like, I'm reading it. And I'm like, yeah, where's Honda? I didn't even notice he was gone.
It's almost like he wasn't that important.
Yeah,
Um,
right. And then we
not-
actually see what he's doing, and it's just like, oh, so he like, because in the anime, it's like he's just hanging out in the hospital with her the whole time.
yeah, he's like macking on her like the entire time. Like this time, it's like nope, like Duke's there from the start.
Yeah, it's like no, like he and Ryuji went there specifically to go pick her up and bring her to Jinochi, which is way more of a like stand-up move, in my opinion, than what we got in the anime.
Yeah, the anime, like he's there giving her commentary on all of Joey's battles, and like whenever Joey fucks up, he's like, "Oh, Joey fucked up here really hard.
He's not doing so good."
I think Joey just did an illegal move." Like,
We can track what's going on in the tournament with this new thing called the internet.
Jesus Christ, I love that anime, but it's so bad at times. So we go from like fight to fight from here on out. I find it interesting too that Junichi is like wearing his school uniform the whole time. Like he doesn't have his like goopy T-shirt he had throughout Battle City in the anime.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Yugi's running around in fucking leather pants and weird like straps and shit all over him.
Yugi is like Yugi's got his straight up iced out fucking get up.
He's in his emo phase.
Pretty much. Even Kaiba's got the iconic Kaiba jacket on right now too as well.
And he went through a growth spurt and he's now as tall as he was in the anime. Like
yes.
Because he wasn't like beforehand. Like he was like on par with everybody else, and all of a sudden he shot up like randomly.
Yeah, they sure did. Even though he's still technically a high schooler, but that's not important. They do acknowledge
he's a billionaire high schooler.
Also, the tournament doesn't feel nearly as long as it did in the anime, because the anime made it feel like because like the joke in the anime is like, aren't they in school?
I mean, it is long. I mean, because we only covered like the prelims in this section, and it was still like 7 volumes and some change. Whereas, true, and we still have a good amount to go before we finish off this arc.
True, but it didn't feel nearly as long. Like in the anime, like the prelims felt like they took forever to get through.
Yeah. And I don't know if part of that is because like right after the first round of the finals, we got that big ass filler arc. But
well, yeah, true. Very, very true.
Which pissed me off as a kid.
Well, yeah, because it's like you're waiting for the fucking Maid gets like fucking destroyed, and then you're like, oh yeah, by the way, you're not gonna find out anything about her for a while. So
yeah, I mean, at the same time, the concept of a deck master in Yu-Gi-Oh is kind of cool, but like you didn't need a whole fucking like 30 episode arc about that. We're fine.
There was cool stuff in the virtual world, but why did they put it there? Why did it have to be there?
Bad placement. Because I'm just gonna throw this out there because it's not like they didn't have the manga to work with. Because the final section that we cover, that volume was released in 2000.
Yes.
So they had the manga to work with. Like, it's no question.
They got to sell.
In fact, I'm pretty sure the whole manga was done by like 2005.
They have to sell toys.
Yeah.
Like it's like Power Rangers. Like they need like this thing to show up on screen to get kids to buy shit. Because they want to do an entire like section about Exodia Necros so they could like get people to buy booster packs to try and get that card.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Yu-Gi-Oh anime pretty much is just a commercial. So
yes.
And you can say the same thing about the Pokemon anime.
Yes. Although the Yu-Gi-Oh anime still feels more structured and feels like it goes places.
Well, yeah, because it actually has like a fucking beginning to end story, and Pokemon is just like, I'm forever 12.
They finally let him graduate and have a new protagonist now.
I mean, at this point, I feel like it's too little too late, but anyway,
yeah,
that's a conversation for a different day.
We'll talk. we will talk Pokemon anime at some point. That's besides the point. Yeah. So going on from there, we get Joey's first big fight, which was the one against Esperoba, I think his name is.
Yeah, it's not the difference with the anime, because in the anime it was Esparoba. In this one, it's Esperoba.
Esperoba.
Like I am an ESP user. Esper.
He is such a fucking dork in the manga.
Yeah.
Like the whole time he was on screen, I'm like, this guy was kind of okay in the anime. Like here, I'm like, can someone just punch this guy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was that really iconic line in the anime. It's just like, this card doesn't deserve a spot in my deck, but it might make a decent coaster for my drink.
Yeah, we don't get that here, but we did get a cool. What's Rex Raptor's name in the manga again? It's like
Dinosaur Ryuzaki.
dinosaur. That's not as funny as Insector, but that's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Dinosaur. Yeah, I love that. There's that little line where he's like, because Joey at this point now he's using his like his bet card as is the Time Wizard. Because you always forget the Time Wizard's like obscenely rare apparently.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it fucking like carried him throughout Duelist Kingdom. So yeah, it's a pretty good card.
Yeah, which is funny too because it's like Joey had a pretty good card to begin with, even without the red eyes. But
And it also established him as his strategy being like gambling.
I love Joey's like luck based strategy because it is very much like it fits his character a lot.
Yeah.
Because
Which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Because I don't
it,
know if
work,
that
it works
speaks
for
very
him.
well to his future as an adult.
But I do like how you get that one moment with the dinosaur where he's all like, "Yo, where's my red eyes?" And he's like, "You mean my red eyes?"
Oh, it's gone, by the way.
Yeah, I lost it. I got it stolen, but then Yugi got it back. But I'm gonna let Yugi have it for now. I just love the fact that he's like so nonchalant about it.
He's like, you mean my card?
Yeah,
Dumbass.
love that scene. Yeah, because in the anime, Rex just kind of gets his ass kicked, loses his like sky dragon, and then just disappears basically after that until he shows up randomly in the ring of Orichalcos filler shit.
Yeah. I do love how like this whole thing starts because like Jonochi comes up and Ryazaki's like, no, Jonochi, you don't want to fight him. He's too strong. And Jonochi's like, I'm gonna fight him. He's just like, were you not listening to me?
Yeah. This fight was a lot quicker in the manga because in the anime it's pretty drawn out. I do like how Joey immediately figures out he's full of shit though, or he's like, oh, you thought I had two whatever the grateful dice, but in reality you only saw the dice, so you just assumed. So you got people watching from somewhere. And he's like, no, I'm psychic. Blah, 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 blah.
He figured it out pretty quick. I mean, he's already dealt with this kind of shit. This is how fucking his first duel in Duelist Kingdom went. Is the same kind of shit.
Yeah,
with mine.
Mine was a lot more. Mine was a lot more dramatic, though. Ironically,
but she was also like her strategy was actually like solid.
Hers could have been convincing if like you weren't paying attention. This guy's was like, I have people spying, and once you get figured out, it's like shit. What do I do now?
Yeah,
because he pretty easily like wipes the floor with him after that. Because like I forgot how easy Jinzo gets fucking wiped out.
Yeah, and then I mean Jinzo is pretty much his Red Eyes replacement for the remainder of the tournament because it's got the same attack points, but it's also kind of better because it also makes trap cards unusable.
Yeah, it can just destroy trap cards, which is such a cool effect. I think I have a Jinzo in my deck still.
Although I don't know if I'm remembering this right. Is Jinzo a 7-star monster in the actual game? Because I always thought he was a 6-star monster.
Let me check. Jinzo. No, not Jinzo 7.
Yeah, that one sucks.
Yeah, yes, it does. Jinzo card. 1, 2, 3. It's a 6-star.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought. So for some reason they made it a 7-star in the manga, and that means it requires 2 sacrifices, which makes it less useful. But I mean,
they also
when you look at it as the actual card, it is objectively better than the Red Eyes. Just, I mean, obviously the Red Eyes has more potential because you confuse it with shit and all that other stuff. But like, if you're just looking at the 2 cards themselves, Jinzo is definitely better.
So there was apparently a later version of Jinzo called Jinzo the Machine Menace, which is a 7-star, but
that's bizarre.
And it has the same stats.
Also, did you notice that throughout like this whole thing, the Dark Magician has different art than what we got?
Yeah.
Like that like card art has different. It's different, but the Blue Eyes is the same.
Which is funny because the Blue Eyes went through like 7 redraws over the years.
Yeah, I still like the original the best though. Same with Red Eyes.
Yeah, the original Red Eyes is my favorite by far.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it is weird. Yeah, it is
Um,
funny though. Like Jinzo, basically, he gets Jinzo, and he's like, "Oh, good, I have a card that's worth a damn now."
yeah. So after that was the Pandora fight, right, with Yuki?
Yes.
And in this version, so if there's any old school viewers of the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, you might remember this duel where there was they got chained to the arena or whatever the little section, and if they lose, they get hit with a dark energy disc that sends them to the shadow realm. Uh, in this
Sure.
version, in this version, it's just a fucking buzzsaw, and it's gonna cut
It's
off their leg.
it's a carbide tipped buzzsaw. Buzzsaw.
Yeah, specifically, and it's literally just gonna cut off their fucking legs.
Yeah. Also, they get rid of that whole backstory with him and his like lover, where that's like, fuck that, we don't need that. That's not important here.
No, but there is like a thing at the end where Merrick's just like, "Oh, this guy, he had two moments in his life where he seriously considered suicide when his mother died and when his lover died. I'm just gonna bring those to the forefront, and after this is all done, he's gonna kill himself." I'm like, "Whoa, dude, that's fucking dark."
Yeah, Merrick's a fucking asshole in the manga. Like from
Yeah,
like in the anime, he was more like a comedic asshole. This one, he's just straight up. He's just a psychotic dick, which makes sense in
yeah. I mean, in the
context.
anime, he was like a petulant child, and this, he's just psychotic,
Which, to be honest, makes sense. But
and he's not even actual psychotic Merrick yet.
yeah, we haven't even got to that guy yet. that man.
Yeah.
Um, I do love though, like the fight. Like they make the whole deal about how he like sacrifices his fucking dark magician, and like Yuki's like, "You just sacrificed your monster, you heartless bastard."
Right? It's just like that's how we play the game, dude. How did you play your dark magician? You had to sacrifice shit for it.
I love that too. Like his dark, because I always loved that his dark magician was all like edgy for no reason.
Yeah, it was like it was tan for some reason.
Tan and like red colored, which I like. I actually really like that design, kind of.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's weird. Because in the manga, they actually use the redesigned dark magician art style where he has like the yellow hair, or
Hmm.
greenish hair. Like because in the anime, he still had like purple hair from his original card design.
Yeah, yeah.
But then like this, they use the later recolor. But
Hmm.
like because they make that whole point where because this is like where like the game just gets ridiculous where like Yugi's like dark magician saves him and it's like yeah okay that can I do that in the actual card game.
Hmm.
um
Um, and the duel itself pretty much goes the same. Like, there's not really much of a difference with the actual duel.
we still get that really epic moment where like he does the whole like he's like but you only have one dark magician and he's like yes one dark magician but dark magician had an apprentice.
Yeah.
um which I was like laughing because I'm like I don't remember this in the anime and then they
So
pull
it
he
happened.
did it.
Yeah.
I don't remember his like speech. Well, I remember the Dark Magician girl, but I didn't remember his whole speech about her.
And I feel like Manga Dark Magician Girl is drawn a little bit more my Kujaku than my Valentine, we'll say.
He likes to draw a certain
Boobs.
part of the female anatomy. I mean, you can say it. I was trying to be tactful.
I have no tact, sir.
He likes to draw the boobage a lot. I mean, I will say, Dark Magician Girl's appearance is still just as badass as it was in the anime.
Yeah, see, the Yu-Gi-Oh artist is a boob guy, whereas the Pokemon artist was a butt guy.
Yes, yeah, that's for sure.
Hmm. And then I
Which
don't know what the hell Kishimoto had going on, but he just liked it all.
depended on the character. It just depended on the character.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I love the way like where he's like, but you only have one dark magician in the graveyard. How is it? How is she more powerful? He's like, well, yeah, your dark magician's here too, buddy, because you're a heartless bastard.
Yeah, you sacrificed your monster, you piece of shit. How dare you in this children's card game?
So weird. Like just how like into Yugi really likes the cards.
Well, there was also like a weird because like obviously, like, this is a manga, so we're gonna have like weird things. But up to this point, like generally, for the most part, like as these duels are happening, like it's just like the game. But every now and then there'll be things like, oh, I like how here Pandora uses the whole like, oh, it's gonna like extract the soul of the monster and inflict direct damage to you, and then Yugi's like, oh, my dark magician extracted its own soul using your card effect to block the damage from your direct attack, and that saved me. And like we had a similar thing in the last arc with the marionette guy who was using Kaiba's deck. Like we had a similar situation there, and like I kind of get it, but like I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me.
Or when Kaiba tried to use Yugi's grandfather's blue eyes and it wouldn't listen to him.
Yeah, well, I mean that kind of made more sense because it was a shadow game.
True.
So like the monsters were real and actually had like substance. It's like that made more sense. But here they're just holograms.
True. True. There was one other one that I always thought was
Unless the Pharaoh is doing it unconsciously with the Millennium Puzzle, which is possible.
maybe. I mean, I still think the most ridiculous is still Cannibal Turtle into the fucking flotation ring, but that'll forever be the most like sure.
We do get a little bit of that nonsense in this arc.
I know.
They throw it in a little bit at the end there, but yeah.
So yeah, after Yugi's fight, then I believe we go on to. Do we get the brief moment where Kaiba like obliterates that one douchebag?
Yeah, that one random dude that was like shaking this guy down, like, this card isn't rare enough. You have to give me 2 cards.
Yeah, because that was in the anime, I remember. Because like Mokuba's like such a jackass in the manga.
I know, but I'm kind of here for it.
I love the fact that where Kaiba's such a dick, like here where he like takes his rare card, he just rips it in half. He's like, "Don't worry, you wouldn't be getting that back anyways."
Yeah, and Mokuba doesn't get kidnapped as much in this version.
Thank God, because that was always dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then Kaiba also doesn't follow his own rules because he just plays Obelisk immediately a lot and just fucking murders people.
Well, I think I assume honestly that like he did play it the way he's supposed to. It's just the duel isn't important enough for us to watch the whole thing.
I just like to think Kaiba just doesn't follow his own rules, to be honest.
He's like, fuck you, Obelisk.
Yeah. He's like, you're a dude, you're a piece of shit, so I don't care.
Torment.
Yeah. Yeah, so then after that, I think next duel is Joey versus Insector.
Oh yeah, Insector Haga.
Dumb name, but I love
this
it.
This one does happen a little bit differently because if memory serves, in the anime, he played the perfectly ultimate great moth. He didn't do that. He just went straight to Insect Queen.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah, because Joey's like, I defeated your best card. He's like, what do you mean my best card? Here's my best card.
Which isn't even technically true, but
yeah, he kind of just wipes the floor with him in this one. Like I forgot about the little punk kid that like gets like his comeuppance because he gets double crossed by Insector.
Yeah, and then Insector fucking just sprays him in the eye with insecticide.
Yeah, like okay,
like that kid's blind. Like there's no fucking question. Like you fucked that kid up.
Yeah. Also, like, wouldn't that be like he slips the card into he does 2 cards, but we only ever see the 1 card.
Yeah.
Into Joey's deck. I wonder what the other card was.
I think they were both the same. I think he just put 2 of them in to make it more likely for him to draw it.
Gotcha. Which technically by Yu-Gi-Oh rules, wouldn't that technically make Joey's deck illegal?
Yeah, because it's only supposed to have 40 cards.
40
so
cards.
They would have had to take cards out.
Also, like you would have to note what cards are in your deck too.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's fucked up too because after that whole thing happens, I forget which one of them said it, but one of either like Anzu or Yuki's granddad was just like, "Hey, you should check your deck just in case." And he's like, "No, that's okay. You can't live life being so cynical. I trust people." Well, that worked out real well for you, didn't it, bud?
Yeah. I do love though, like how he easily outsmarts Insector though, where he's like, So your perfect strategy. This guy's made of metal. Get fucked. like, like just like straight up, he's just like get fucked.
It's a metal man.
Yeah, and then Joey wins that one pretty. That one's like the most like in the anime, it was a lot more dramatic. This one, he just kind of wipes the floor with him, and I'm like, this guy was a champion.
Yeah,
Like,
but I remember I had the Gear Freeze the Iron Knight tin collectible tin as a kid.
Yeah,
He was cool. I like Gearfried.
he is a cool monster. Like I like Joey's deck is very interesting because it's all like complete nonsense.
I like warrior decks. Warrior decks are fun. I did lean dragons as a kid, but warrior decks are still fun. I enjoy them.
Well, Joey's deck's always interesting. It's a warrior deck with luck based combos and a dragon.
Yeah, a couple dragons. You got baby dragon, 1,000 dragons.
Oh yeah, baby. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, then after that, I think we got. Is it right after that we get Yugi fights Merrick possessing the mime guy?
Yes.
Yeah,
And that's when he.
Because that fight is like the anime made that fight so dramatic just because of how like because that strategy is kind of perfect until you find a way around it.
Yeah, it's like one of those like you have to have like just the right fucking card in your deck for that to work. Like,
yeah,
what are the odds? You know, I mean, he did have like a card that would allow him to take control of other people's monsters, like Sid's Duelist Kingdom, but still, like, what are the odds?
Yeah, because it was like because actually I loved that episode so much. I actually had a revival gem in my deck for the longest time,
even though it doesn't work the same way at all.
No, it doesn't. I was very disappointed. It's like Toon World. Like you find out it's like actually kind of shit. Like it's not worth using.
Yeah, there's a good number of cards in this arc that I was reading it. I'm like, that's not how that card works.
No, I did. I just remember like I was like, oh, Revival Jam's so cool. I bought one. I'm like, it doesn't actually work that way. Fuck. Yeah, this fight is pretty cool though. It's cool how like Yugi like disables it so fast and then just like kind of gets Slifer.
Yeah. And he did kind of like need Kaiba to support him like partway through that fight because there was a point where he just kind of like lost hope. Like he was just, yep, I'm done.
I mean, at first glance, that is a hopeless situation. Like,
yeah,
for sure. This thing is just infinitely strong. Because I always loved, out of all the god cards, I always loved Slifer's like whole like special effect where it was like the number of cards in your hand is his attack points and defense.
Slifer was always my favorite of the god cards.
Which I always was annoyed that Yugi was always such like a bitch about using it. He was like, I can't use the god card.
It's too powerful. I might hurt someone.
And then Kaiba's like obelisk left and right. He's like, fuck you.
Right. He's like, I don't give a fuck. Get fucked, nerd.
Yeah, because there's that scene later where Merrick's like, oh, I know using Slifer the Sky Dragon, and Yugi's like, I wasn't gonna use it anyways, but I will use this Red Eyes.
Yeah. I'll use this cooler dragon, even though it's weak compared to Slifer.
I love Red Eyes though.
Red Eyes is out of like the three main like cards in the original Yu-Gi-Oh anime. I think I like Red Eyes the most.
Yeah,
but it's a hard choice. It's a hard choice because the Dark Magician and the Blue Eyes are also very cool.
True.
But Red Eyes is the most like versatile. Dark Magician's got a lot of fusions too.
Dark Magician does, but his are a lot more of a pain in the ass to like use a lot of the time. Like,
Red Eyes. Dark Paladin fucks.
True. Was that like around at the start though?
It gets introduced in the finals.
Okay. Right. That's true.
That's how he beats Kaiba. Spoilers.
Yes. Yeah. Very true. Well, I mean, shocker. But
yeah.
Yeah, but so going back, like Yugi gets the Slifer. Mokuba's also like, he's like, oh, you won this, but you're not gonna have it for long.
Yeah, of course.
Because I think in the anime it was more like, he's like, I wish I could give this to my brother, but rules are rules.
Also, I noticed like in the anime, Mokuba is like the only person who calls Kaiba Seto, but in the manga, he just calls him Kaiba.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of weird. Like you call your brother by your last name. That's kind of weird.
their relationship honestly in the manga,
And they're
their relation.
adopted too, so it's like yeah, it's their last name, but like it's not their real last name.
Yeah, I don't know. Their
And they
relationship in the
and
manga
they
is
hated their stepdad.
sure did.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
It's
don't know.
weird.
Might be a translation issue or something too. I don't know.
It could be, I guess.
But yeah, after this, then it's like all of a sudden Merrick's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get my card back. We're gonna go after your friend," and Yugi's like, "No, not my friend, Kaiba. I don't have time for this right now," and just runs off. And Kaiba,
Yeah.
like, unlike in like the anime where he's like, "You can't just say no," he's like, "Okay, fine, we'll do this later." He's like, "I guess I'll help you."
He's like, fine, I guess you can prioritize your friend.
Yeah, yeah. Kaiba's like weirdly not as much of an asshole in the manga
Mm-hmm.
because the anime
And like,
he's like, "You can't say no," and Yugi's like, "Well, I just did."
it's like a whole thing where it's like, oh no, I have to go help my friends, and then we get a whole aside of you, Joey or Jinochi having the duel against
Eiko,
Mako or whatever the fuck his Japanese name is.
I couldn't tell you.
I don't
Al-
remember.
Also, like speaking of that duel is basically the same. Um,
There's a couple little differences,
is it
like
the?
the whole thing with his dad was different.
Oh yeah, that.
Um, like in this one, it's just like he's like, yeah, I believe that my dad is still alive, but like at the same time, like I think even he knows, like, yeah, my dad's fucking dead. Like, there's no question. Yeah, I'm just in
Also,
denial.
because in this duel they bet two cards, and I always remember because Joey wins the the great legendary fisherman card or whatever.
Hmm.
And then he also gets that other like ritual card that he never uses.
Was it even a ritual card in the manga? Like, I know it is like in the actual game, but in the manga, was it a ritual or did he just sacrifice to play it?
I don't
They do
remember.
that sometimes because I think in this duel, Jinochi uses Guilty of the Dark Knight, and that is a fusion monster. But I know for a fact that he just sacrificed to play it in this.
Yeah,
So it's one of those weird things where, like, sometimes I just like, yeah, I know that this is how this card works in the real game, but we're just gonna ignore that for now. Like how he would just play Flame Swordsman, even though that's also a fusion card.
yes. Yeah, I don't remember in the probably honestly probably they didn't even like do the ritual thing.
Also, like this is one of those moments where I noticed like a blatant ignoring of the rules because in the previous duel when Yugi was dueling the mime guy, they were like they made this big to do about how in the tournament rules for this tournament, a fused monster can't attack on the turn it was fused, and then like Merrick got around it by using a special card to do it anyway. But then Joey fuses and makes Alligator Sword Dragon and just immediately attacks, and it's just not even brought up.
Yes. Yeah, because like if I'm right though, he never uses that other card that he gets from Mako, right?
The Fortress Whale, I don't remember him ever using it.
I forgot he had it. Like every time I see the scene where he gets it, I'm like, oh yeah, he got two cards.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible that he uses it in the manga because, as I mentioned before, I haven't read past this point, but he definitely didn't in the anime, so I can
No.
say that much for sure.
He also rarely uses the legendary fisherman either.
I think he used it that one time, like in the finals, when he like goes out of his way to summon all three of the cards that he won throughout the tournament. Like,
Oh yeah.
look, these are the fruits of my training, essentially, and just like, okay, you just sacrificed a monster to play a monster with 1,800 attack points. That's kind of lame, but all right.
Yeah, and they all get eaten by the mythical beast circuit anyways.
Yeah.
It becomes that abomination, but that's besides the point.
Trap decks are badass, just saying.
Yeah, they are.
That was what I used to run in Duel Links. I love the trap deck.
Traps are so just maniacal though, because you'll be like having a great time, and someone's like, "You activated my trap card. Get fucked."
And then you're just like, ah, fuck you, Genzo. Your deck is useless.
Destroy trap. Um, But yeah, so then we get after that, then we get the we actually get to see that scene where Kaiba wrecks the two masked ghouls before they become the masked ghouls.
Oh, we should probably talk about Merrick and Bakura's meeting.
Oh yeah, that does happen. Yeah, because Bakura put his. We also forgot to mention too that Bakura still puts his like spirit in the puzzle.
Oh yeah, yeah. When the game shop was on fire and stuff, he still put a little bit of himself in the puzzle, which will come around in the last arc. But
Yes.
um, yeah. So like at one point, like Bakura senses that there's another Millennium Item user, and he ends up encountering Merrick like as he's like literally they're outside the aquarium where Jinochi's having his duel, and that's where they like bump into each other, and they're like, all right, we gotta talk this out. And I remember in the anime they just went to like an alleyway or something, but here they went to like a pier.
Yeah.
Um and like pretty much they have this whole like big talk about like their goals and shit. And like Merrick's pretty much just like, you know what? I don't really give a fuck about the Millennium Puzzle. That's another thing. Is in the anime they made a huge deal about Merrick wanting the Millennium Puzzle as like a part of the whole thing. He doesn't give a fuck about the puzzle in this. He just wants the God cards and he wants to kill Yugi. That's all he wants.
Yeah, well, because he wanted to like do something about that fucking tattoo on his back in the anime, and this one he's just like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah. But anyways, like basically Merrick's just like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about the Millennium items. You help me now, and I'll just give them to you afterwards. I couldn't care less. And he's just like, all right, you have this long to decide, and if you don't decide, then I'm just gonna fucking kill you. And Bakura's like, this is my answer, and he pulls out a fucking knife. And then like you think he's gonna fucking jump him or whatever, but he slashes his own arm, and it's just like, oh, this is gonna be like our way in or something. Like it was fucking weird.
Bakura's a fucking comedy villain, I swear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens. Also, has Merrick showed up yet and called himself Namu yet, or is that happens like later in the?
This happens like right after, because that remember as he's introducing himself, it's because he's like helping Bakura, like who has a injured arm.
Right. That's what it was. Yeah, because I always remember because they're like, "Oh, my name's Namu," and they're like, "Oh, you're a duelist?" He's like, "Fuck." Yeah, I guess.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally a duelist. I'm not very good though, which is what they always say. What the villain always says, I'm not very good.
I'm not that good.
And like earlier in the arc too, Bakura was just like, "Oh, I'm a duelist too. I have an occult themed deck." It's like I like gross monsters. And we don't actually see it until he fights Yugi too in the finals.
Yeah, we like briefly see it when he fights the ghoul, like ghoul in his gang or
Bones or whatever the fuck his
yeah.
name is. But like literally, we don't actually see it. He just mentions this is the power of my occult theme deck, and he's already won by the time we see. So like we don't actually see anything that he has. So, so that whole duel in the anime was just filler. That didn't actually happen.
Yeah, because that's all going on, and then we get So Joe, what's weird is like Joey's still doing his shit, but Yugi's like, I have to save Joey. And they're up on top of the building now. They're facing off against the two masked ghouls in the double duel.
And this is like throughout this duel and then the following one that caps off this section, like Kaiba actually does go through some development here, even though he doesn't like outwardly say it. Like when you like pay attention to like the stuff that he's like kind of thinking to himself, like he grows here, and it's good to see. Because in the anime, he's just so like, I don't care. You could do all this magic voodoo in front of me. You're just doing stupid tricks, and I don't believe anything. Like, it's stupid.
Yeah, because the double duel on top of the building is honestly, out of all the duels, I think it's like the one that's like the most 1-to-1.
For the most part, yeah. With the exception of some of the dialogue, which is my point.
Yeah, like it's slightly changed there, but the duel itself is mostly the same, although a bit more streamlined.
They do a big theme of this duel is the power of unity, as Yugi puts it.
Hmm.
Um, and Kaiba's just what, the power of unity? I'm a solitary duelist. I do things by myself. My my theme essentially. And it's like when Yugi does the whole Magnet Warrior thing, and he's like, "This is the power of unity," and Kaiba's like, "Oh, the power of
Yeah.
unity."
It's better than in the anime where like in the anime Kaiba's like, I have an ultra rare card, but because Yugi fucked up our strategy, I can't play it. It's
Yeah,
like,
and like what thing that I noticed is like this whole like power of unity thing actually does affect Kaiba, because I was thinking about this as I was reading it, and I realized that Kaiba doesn't use the XYZ Dragon Cannon strategy until after he sees the Valkyrian strategy.
hmm.
So he like kind of got that idea, like the whole power of unity working together thing. He got that from this duel. And that was kind of like what like made him realize like, yeah, working in tandem is actually a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, Kaiba does grow. And thankfully in the anime, we don't on the manga, we don't have that stupid episode on the helicopter that's just fucking flashbacks.
Yes, we don't have a clip show episode.
Where Kaiba's the whole time's like being a fucking Debbie Downer, like fucking party tricks. That never happened.
Also, I love that when they beat the one guy, like the one that they beat first, and the glass breaks, and he's just like parachute. It's just, nope, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, because none of that Shadow Realm shit.
Yeah, which I'm pretty sure he did the parachute thing in the anime too,
But he
but it
still
made less
gets
sense with the whole Shadow Realm thing, because it's like, oh, if you fall through the glass, you'll instantly drop into the Shadow Realm. And then he's just like, oh, well, if I fall slowly with the parachute, then I won't go to the Shadow Realm.
but he
Like,
still ends up doing it anyways.
yeah, it's just fucking silly.
Yep. As most of this show is. Um but yeah, then after that, then that's when Joey ends up getting kidnapped. Joey and Anzu and Junichi, and they get brainwashed, and then they have the big duel on the dockside pier with the anchor suicide thing.
Yep.
Um,
With the like suicide pact chain to the anchor thing. Which the whole thing with Anzu, first of all, one of those rare occurrences where the anime I feel like was more hardcore than the manga. Because in the anime, they had her sit like strapped to this chair, and there was just like this huge fucking crate, like just fucking hanging above her, and it was just like, oh well, if you try anything, I'm gonna drop this big ass fucking crate on her and just crush her, which would like it was like literally big to the point where like she would be pulp if it fell on her. Um, in this, she just has like a cyanide capsule sticking out of her mouth, and she's like, if you try anything, I'll make her swallow it.
yeah, not nearly as funny. This is like when she was up on that roof, like hanging off the side of a platform in the manga.
Yeah, yeah, with the shoddy thing, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
that's more hardcore here, but here it's just like cyanide pill.
yeah. Um, and then like as soon as Kaiba like realizes what's going on, he's like instantly like, I'm gonna put a stop to this because this is bullshit.
Yeah,
And like apparently a ghoul just fucking snuck up on them, because he just fucking grabs Mokuba, puts a knife to his throat, and he's just like, don't do it. Just don't.
yeah. Um, so this duel basically goes the same way. Like the whole Yugi uses the red eyes because it's supposed to be symbolic. The big difference though is how it ends.
Yeah. Well, first of all, once Kaiba actually decides to make a move, and I love when he like goes to pull a card from his deck. He's like, please be a common card. Please be a common card. And he throws it. And like, I don't know what the fuck this card is made out of, because it literally like fucking like ninja star sticks into this fucking guy's hand. Like it is impaling him in the hand. Like, what is this fucking card made of? And it
Uh,
did end up being the blue eyes. And he was like, ah, you got your nasty blood on my card, you piece of shit.
Yeah. He's like, please be a common card. It's fucking Blue Eyes. It's like, of course it
Yeah,
is.
it's just like, oh, of course, it's one of the cards that there's only 3 of in the world. Of course it is.
Because I was a petty bitch and ripped the 4th one. But
Yeah.
yeah, because then there's so the scene that's super different. So at this whole time we forgot about Honda and Ryuji are doing their road trip where they go pick up Joey's sister. They end up
Shizuka? Is that her name?
Shizuka, that's what it is. And they run into Mai on the way, and she's like, "Oh, I'll give you guys a lift in my car because I'm an adult." And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh right. So
And
then
she's
they
like, "Oh, your older brother's a great guy." Like she has this whole like kind of touching moment with her, and that's pretty good.
which is weird because they don't play up the romance with them as much as they did in the anime, which is dumb because it ends up going nowhere anyways.
But it's still kind of feel like it's there though. I don't know if it's just my bias from the anime sinking in, but it still seems like it's there.
It's less creepy in the manga.
I mean, it's Japan.
I know, but it's more the 4Kids dub where they give Mai that like 40-year-old smoker voice for no reason.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That they later gave to Rouge the Bad in Sonic X. I'm just gonna point that out. Anyways,
also that one chick can bleach.
Yeah. But yeah, like so they end up going back to the duel, and rather than having that really touching scene in the anime where like his sister saves him, in this one it's like Kaiba just does it.
I love that whole bit where Kaiba's just like holding Janochi's key and just like over the water, and he's just like, all right, he's probably struggling pretty good by now. And then he drops it in.
Yeah.
He's just like, he literally just holds it over the water like, I bet you wish you had this key, bud.
Because in the anime, it's like this whole heartwarming scene where Joey saves Yugi, and he's like, "Oh, Yugi's coming to save me," and it's like, "No, it's your sister, bud." In this one though, it's like he saves Yugi, and then like Kaiba's just like, "Here's your key, have fun."
I honestly like. I feel like I'm kind of like this version a little bit more. Like I don't like the whole like but like that always bothered me. Even as a kid, that bothered me because it's just like you just got out of surgery, you just took the bandages off your eyes. You're gonna go jump into the ocean to save somebody. Like your eyes haven't worked properly in like what 10 years, and you just had surgery to fix them. And you're gonna go and jump in the water. You have to have your eyes open in the salt water to find your brother. So you're just gonna go ahead and fuck your eyes up right after you're recovering from surgery. Like that doesn't make sense.
She's got the power of anime on her side.
The power of sibling love or whatever the fuck.
But I do like there is a good scene though after Joey gets out of the water. It's like he does his whole like why yada. Kaiba makes the comment about you're not as bad a duelist as I thought, and Joey's like I owe you one.
Yeah, he's pretty much like he pretty much acknowledges it. Like he doesn't do it out loud. He just does it like in his head, but like he does acknowledge him. Like, all right, you're a pretty all right duelist. Like you're not too bad. Well, because I do like that they make a big like stink about how like they loaded his deck with illegal tournament cards.
Yeah,
which I thought was like interesting, and then like I don't know that whole thing was weird. It was weird.
Yeah. Because I always hated in the anime how like they really made Kaiba just like an asshole to Joey for no reason.
I mean, he was the butt of the joke, so I mean, it was what worked.
But even like towards the end, where like Joey's like legitimately actually a very competent duelist, and Kaiba's like this guy's a third-rate amateur, and it's like he came in third.
You're a third-rate duelist with a fourth-rate deck.
Like what does that even mean? Like, but of course after that, then they do the whole thing where they put their locator cards, or they're just puzzle cards in this.
Kaiba actually did that right after the ghoul thing, or right after the mask guys. So they already knew where it was.
Yeah, which is I love that Kaiba has to do it too, even though he fucking clearly knows where it is.
Even though he says he doesn't, but I don't believe that.
Yeah, it's like bullshit.
Kaiba, I mean, the people who planned it are on your payroll, Kaiba. You didn't need the locator card to figure it out.
Kaiba probably had like 6 of them just on hand just in case. Like he was not
Probably.
missing the tournament.
Probably.
We also don't get that like scene with like that creepy guy who tries to marry Mai in the manga.
I'm okay with this.
You know what's weird? They brought that back in Reshef of Destruction.
Did they?
Yeah, they bring that's like a well, because that takes place at that's like based off the manga continuity, so I guess they just kind of used it there because Reshef of Destruction is essentially like what if Pegasus came back as like a villain.
Again.
Well, it's based off the in that point where hadn't come back yet, but
Mhm.
Reshef of
Even
Destruction
even
is
though in the manga he's just dead. He's just fucking murdered.
yeah, Reshef of Destruction is a fucking weird game. The most bullshit rule
Yeah.
set in a Yu-Gi-Oh game, period.
Yeah, agreed.
But yeah, then they basically get to the finale, and do we actually see everyone show up, or is it just kind of like who's gonna be here?
No, like I mean the chapter that I chose it to cut off of was when like it ends with Ishizu getting on the blimp, which she was the last one. So
Right, that's what it was. Oh yeah, because they're all like
also Bakura
Namu.
shows up, but he's just like, yes, I also in the tournament, and I have all the locator cards. Fuck you.
No one's gonna question this. Um,
Mhm.
and they're like Namu, you are a duelist too, and it's like yeah.
Here I am. I somehow, I barely made it through sheer luck.
His acting is terrible, even in the
Yep.
manga.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then when Odeon shows up, he's just like, I'm Merrick Ishtar. Yeah. Look at how big and imposing I am.
Look, I have the Millennium Rod. It doesn't look like plastic, does it?
But yeah, that's pretty much where we leave it off here. Because it turns out the finals are just as long as the prelims.
Yes. I mean,
Pretty
some
much.
of those fights are fucking long.
Yeah, well, I mean, weirdly enough, Dungeon Dice Monsters, longest thing in this whole section.
Yeah, which was bizarre. Because I remember I was like reading, I'm like, holy shit, is the whole thing gonna be like this? And I'm like,
I mean,
oh no.
the only one that even compared was the final thing with Yugi and Janochi.
Yeah. But that see, that was familiar stuff, so that one kind of read really quick. The Dungeon Dice, I was so confused the whole time. I was like, where is this going?
Mm-hmm.
But I like where it's going so far. I'm curious to see the next part when we get there.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see like the Merrick backstory stuff and see how that goes in the manga
Mm,
because it was pretty fucking dark in the anime. So I'm really curious to see how the manga handled it.
mm. Yeah, honestly. Um,
But yeah,
good stuff. I'm actually it's crazy because I'm looking at how many volumes are left. I'm like, oh yeah, there's like a couple filler arcs in the anime that like don't happen in the manga. So like we're like almost in like the end game.
pretty much. I mean, we have the rest of Battle City and then Egypt, and that's it. That's the whole thing. We
Yeah,
have two more sections of the manga left.
because Ring of Coast Dragon shit doesn't happen. That weird mini tournament doesn't happen.
Yep. Capsule
Yeah.
Monster is not a thing. Well, I mean, it is a thing, but it was like a board game, like in the first arc, and that's it.
Yeah, the virtual world doesn't happen. So like a lot of like the stuff that made that anime so long doesn't happen.
Yeah. The anime is really fucking long. It's like
Yeah.
220 episodes, some shit like that.
See, I never finished it as a kid because I fucking noped out during Waking the Dragons because I got so fucking fed up with that shit.
Honestly, as a kid, I did the same. Like literally, I didn't get like 2 episodes into that arc before I was like, fuck this.
I got up to the point where Yugi like loses and gets put in the Shadow Realm, and then Joey punches Yami in the face, and I was like, "What the fuck are we even watching anymore?"
I mean, Joey punching Yami in the face is still pretty great, but
I mean, it was funny, but
it's good for the memes. But like I still kind of wish that I had stuck it out as a kid because the fucking Egypt shit is awesome.
well, yeah. I mean, watching it later on, I was like, "Oh damn, I missed out a lot."
Like that's the part I'm really looking forward to reading in the manga because like that was badass.
Yeah.
Like even the shitty 4Kids version was badass. So it's like I'm really looking forward to reading that part.
Well, because the thing with Waking to Dragons that really pissed me off was the fact that like that literally starts where it's like, oh wow, Yugi finally has the 3 Egyptian god cards. I mean, look, they're so important. They're in the opening title card, and they get stolen the first fucking episode. It's just like
They get stolen, and like they somehow like suck the life force out of them, so they're unusable in the card game now. Apparently,
yeah. Also, like they're stolen by fucking Weevil and fucking Rex, and I'm like, really,
yeah,
really.
yeah.
Ugh, that annoyed the shit out of me, especially with how epic the ending to Battle City is.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged makes that arc much more bearable.
Well, I'm sure they do. Also, they just like mind wipe like Mai again for no reason.
Yeah, yeah. And they changed her voice, which was bizarre.
But kind of better. I don't know. The
Debatable.
40-year-old
The
the 40-year-old
cheesiness of the original cast is just it's just
True.
too perfect. Because they changed Mokuba's voice in that arc too.
True. I mean, it's nothing will ever be Tristan's voice changed, but
Yeah.
yeah. So not sure about what we're gonna cover next. We'll probably talk about that off camera. But in the meantime, guys, once again, thank you for joining us on Geek Addicts. You can find Geek Addicts on all the major podcasting platforms, particularly Apple Podcast and Spotify. Be sure to check us out over on Superpod Network. That is superpodnetwork.com. Awesome site where you can find a whole bunch of different videos, podcasts, blogs. The Game Club, we're doing Mega Man X2. Matt destroyed everybody. Good times. Good times. But yeah, be sure to check us out there. And until next time, guys, we will see you all later.
Have a good one.